How does a political party responsible for some of history's worst atrocities even begin? You might think it started with a bang, but really, it was more like a whisper. We're going to go back to the very start to understand the birth of the Nazi Party.
It's a huge question, right? Is a movement born from some powerful idea, or maybe a single charismatic leader? Or does it just grow from a small, overlooked group, meeting in a quiet room? As we're about to see, for the Nazi Party, the answer is, well, it's a chilling combination of all three.
So, to really understand what the Nazi Party became, we have to look at where it came from. And its origins are surprisingly humble, almost obscure.
Our story kicks off in 1919. Now, you have to picture the scene. Germany, right after World War I, is in chaos. It's a hotbed of these small, angry nationalist groups. One of them was called the German Workers' Party, and honestly, at first there was nothing special about it at all.
A small party can easily just fade away, right? But what happens when you introduce a powerful catalyst into that mix? Well, the German Workers' Party was about to find out.
In that same year, a pretty unknown former soldier named Adolf Hitler went to one of the party's meetings. He was just another face in the crowd, but he had a particular skill that would soon let him basically hijack the entire movement.
So, what was that skill? He was a uniquely powerful speaker. At a time of huge national uncertainty, his ability to just captivate an audience with these speeches filled with anger and promise, well, that was the engine for his entire rise to power.
And his rise was just shockingly fast. He didn't just climb the party ladder, he basically kicked it over and rebuilt the whole thing with himself at the very top. He went from a brand new member to the organization's undisputed leader.
And with new leadership came a new, much more powerful identity. The German Workers' Party was rebranded as the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Yep, the Nazi Party. This wasn't just a simple name change, it was a declaration of a new and much more radical mission.
So, what was this new direction all about? I mean, a party is more than just a name and a leader. It needs an ideology. Let's break down the three foundational pillars that this newly transformed party was pushing.
The party's entire new platform was built on three core pillars: an incredibly intense form of nationalism, a vicious anti-Semitism, and a demand for absolute authoritarian rule. To really get their power, we need to be crystal clear on what each one of these actually meant.
First up, nationalism. And look, this wasn't just about patriotism. It was a belief in the absolute superiority of the German nation, an ideology that demanded aggressive expansion and racial purity to restore what they saw as lost national pride.
Second, anti-Semitism. This was really the dark heart of the whole ideology. It wasn't just prejudice, it was a complete worldview that systematically blamed Jewish people for all of Germany's problems, which made them a convenient target for national hatred.
And finally, authoritarian rule. This was a complete rejection of what they saw as messy, indecisive democracy. It promised order in a time of chaos by concentrating all power into the hands of one single, decisive leader. It meant eliminating all dissent and individual freedom.
Okay, so now we have the components, right? We have the initial group, the charismatic leader, and the core ideology. So how did these three things fuse together into a movement that would completely alter the course of history?
You know, it really boils down to this formula. You start with a small, pre-existing political group, then you add a powerful speaker who seizes total control. And finally, you infuse the whole thing with this potent ideological cocktail. That combination proved to be dangerously transformative.
And that leaves us with a pretty sobering final thought. We've just seen a blueprint, haven't we? It shows how one determined person, armed with a powerful ideology, can hijack a small organization and reshape it into a world-changing force. It's a stark reminder that history can pivot on that toxic combination of the right person, the right message, and the absolute wrong time.